Wow, guys, Donald Trump destroys George Stephanopoulos. Check this out.
And they will agree with me.
On Saturday, you said that you would threaten to sue the 11 women who've accused you of sexual assault.
You know, I hate that you waste time when we're talking about ISIS and we're talking about jobs and you're still bringing that up. Everybody wants to bring it up. Look,
that was just Saturday.
These were false attacks. These things never happened. These people, I don't know these people. These things never, ever happened. This was out of the blue. It was made up, probably by the Clinton campaign.
Do you have any evidence of that?
Well, many of the stories have already been debunked. Many of the stories have already been debunked. As you know.
The People magazine story, they brought forward 6 witnesses.
Why didn't she write the story
12
years ago?
She says she was afraid.
Oh, she was afraid. Give me a break. She was afraid to write it. She would have gotten the Pulitzer Prize. Give me a break. She was afraid. And she had the butler as a witness, right? Who no longer works for me. So she had the butler as a witness, except for one problem.
6 corroborating witnesses.
Excuse me. There was nobody corroborating. They said years later she talked about it. Look, the butler, she said, was there. One problem. The butler said it never happened. He doesn't work for me. No longer. He's a good man. By the way, he's a good man. But he hasn't worked for me in years. They went to the butler. He said it never happened. Nobody reported
all these
that.
Women,
why didn't
everyone
they
they talked to are lying?
They made up stories. You know why? Fame, or they wanted to help Clinton, or something. They made up stories.
They came out after you denied the behavior.
George, let's not waste any more time. These stories were fabricated. They're total lies.
So you're going to go through with the lawsuit?
We'll find out. Let's see what happens with the election. We're going to find out. But I'm just telling you, these stories are total lies, and you shouldn't be wasting time. And remember this, why didn't you write about the butler? You knew about the butler refuting her story. Why didn't anybody write it? It's a very unfair press.
One of your toughest critics on this is the First Lady, Michelle Obama. She says, your behavior, your words are cruel, they are frightening. This is not how decent people behave. This is not how people who want to be president behave.
Well, what's she going to say? Is she going to say I'm wonderful? Now look, she made the statement about Hillary Clinton. I've heard the statement for years.
I'll just tell you guys this right now. After seeing everything that Donald Trump has been through, seeing everybody throw stuff at him, everybody's trying to throw a rock at him right now. To see him get through it every time, it just shows you he has stamina. You can say whatever you want. You don't have to respect him, but you have to realize he has stamina.
For years, I had no idea it was Michelle Obama. She made the statement that if you can't take care of your own house, you can't take care of the White House. You know, I've heard that statement for years,
she was
having
talking
to do
about
with
her
Bill
own
Clinton.
house.
Oh, come on. Look, you know better than that. That was during the campaign. She said about Hillary Clinton, you can't take care of your own house, meaning Bill Clinton, then how can you take care of the White House? It was a vicious statement. It was covered at the time, and it's gone all over the world. I mean, it's a very well-known statement. I would never have used it, other than I saw the other night on television, they went back 8 years and they played that statement. It was her that made the statement.
What do you think about what she's
now,
saying
all
about
of a sudden,
you?
I'm such a bad person. Look, what is she going to say? Is she going to say, I'm fantastic? Is she going to say, I'm going to not let jobs leave our country anymore? We're going to keep our jobs? You have to see what's happening to our country. Our companies are leaving from Mexico and other places, and we're losing our jobs. Is she going to say Trump is better at that than any other human being in the world? Okay, which I believe I am. Okay, I will stop it cold. We have so many things to do that, you know, but now look, she's the First Lady. She's got to say what she's got to say. I mean, I understand that. That's the game.
President Obama says you should stop whining about the system.
I'm not whining about anything. I'm not whining about anything. Here's another one. So 8 years ago, Obama talked about the elections in Chicago, essentially saying how they were rigged, okay? Now it's, oh, nobody would ever rig an election. You have 1,800,000 dead people registered to vote, and some of them vote, which is interesting. You have almost 3 million people that are registered to vote in 2 different states. Now, I'm not making a big deal of it. I think I'm going to win the election. I think I'm going to win. You look at Florida right now, you look at North Carolina, you look at Ohio, you look at Iowa, you look at these places, people are starting to get, I mean, the press is starting to get very concerned. And I see it all over the news this morning. But you look at what's going on in Florida, where the lines are 4 blocks long, and most of those people have red hats on. I'll tell you what, things are going to be a little bit
You do sound pretty
different.
energized today. When you look back over the sweep of this campaign, going back to last June, is there anything you regret?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to have done certain things over, but you can't. You can't. But that's true in life. I'd love to have done in life certain things over, I guess. And you would have too.
Give me one.
You would have loved not to have contributed to the Clinton Foundation, as an example. There are things that you wish you didn't do, okay? You came very close to the edge. You would have loved to have had that decision over again. There are things I would have rather, not happened. But George, all you can do is you put your head down and you have to go forward. But I'm really happy. Look, I started off, you were one of, actually, Jonathan Karl, your person, did just about, in fact, he was badly criticized in this building. He did an interview. I said, I'm seriously thinking about running. And he was criticized because everybody thought I was playing games. But when I ran, it was 17 people. It was actually 18, but it was 17 people. Governors, senators, talented people, people like Ben Carson, who's a phenomenal guy who endorsed me. But there were 17 very talented people, mostly politicians at the highest level. And everybody said, you know what? Trump can't win this. These people have been doing this all their lives. He's got no experience. And then one by one, they disappeared. And one of your competitors said, as they sat around a round table and talked about my entering the race, one of your very smart competitors said, they were all criticizing my going in, said, be careful what you wish for, because he knew me. He knew me. He said to the 4 women and 2 men sitting around a table on a certain network, this one person said, very smart guy, said, be careful what you wish for. And when I went into the campaign, one by one they disappeared. Now, some are, they signed pledges. Everybody signed a pledge. Some are, they can't.
It's safe to say that Trump proved everyone wrong back then, and he's going to prove everyone wrong again in 2024. That's what I see, because he's not a guy that's willing to give up. He's a guy that's wishing to push forward and keep going and make sure he gets what he wants and make sure the American people get what they want also. He doesn't care about how much he loses. He doesn't care about how much they try to ruin his name and slander his name in the media. He just keeps going. You gotta support someone like that. You gotta support someone like that, guys. Let's keep going.
Can't get over the loss. They got beaten very badly. They can't get over the loss. It's very dishonorable that they didn't endorse. It's very few, 3. But I am really happy with the way it's worked out.
Let me just bring one specific.
And I think, most importantly, I think we're going, this is a movement like that's never happened in this country. Even you will admit that. Even your friend Bill O'Reilly said it's the most incredible thing he's ever seen in politics. Okay. And a lot of it's because of the movement, because of the crowds. There is tremendous spirit out there for change. People want change.
Do you think you should have apologized to the Kahns or Judge Curiel?
I have great respect for the Kahn family. I have great respect for, the son is a great hero. But if I were president at that time, Captain Kahn would be alive today, George, because I wouldn't have been in Iraq. So if I were president, Captain Kahn's son would be.
You did support it initially.
Support
the
what?
invasion.
I never support. Look, let's get it straight. I was opposed to the war in Iraq. I was opposed to the war in Iraq. And for the most part, the honest people agree with it.
But
right from the beginning, I was opposed. That was way before the war started, and that was the first time I was ever even asked about Iraq, and I gave a very, I don't know, who knows.
Right at the beginning.
That was long, that was way before. If you look at just before the war started, I said, don't do it, it's a mistake, you're going to destabilize the Middle East. From the beginning, I was opposed to the war in Iraq. Then they did magazine articles right after the war started. I was opposed to it then, and that was 100%. Had I been president, Captain Kahn would be alive today. We wouldn't have been in this horrible, horrible mistake of the war in Iraq. We made a mistake in going in, and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton made a terrible mistake in the way they took us out, because we created a vacuum. They got out so badly. It was so, I can only use the word stupid. The way they got out of the war in Iraq was so bad. They left the vacuum, ISIS formed. ISIS now, George, is in 32 countries. Remember, he said the JV, Univercity. ISIS now is in 32 countries. And Hillary Clinton, she says she's going to stop them. Why didn't she do it before? Why didn't she do any of the things before? She's been there, George, for 30 years. All of these things happen. Now she says she's going to do this. Why didn't she do them before?
Final question. I heard backstage, Colonel Dolan said that you said Hillary Clinton was a tough and talented lady. She said, if I win, we have to work together. I know you think you're going to win. If she wins, Are you prepared to work
I
with her?
just want to make that decision at a later date. I'm not saying I'm not or I am. I just don't want to tell you today. I want to make that decision at the appropriate time. Hopefully, I won't have to make that decision. I really believe we're going to win. We're going to win Florida. We're going to win Ohio. We're going to win North Carolina. I think we're going to win Pennsylvania. You have to see what's going on in Pennsylvania. The crowds and the people getting ready. I think we're going to win Pennsylvania. I went to school there. I know it very well. I have amazing relationships. You look at the steel workers, the miners, they're all voting for Trump. I mean, she's against those industries. So I think we're going to win Pennsylvania too. I think you will be very surprised.
We'll see. Mr. Trump, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
I feel so bad for George, guys. He was wishing and praying that ABC didn't make him interview Donald Trump. We could see he didn't do any research on Donald Trump before this. All he had was a bunch of gotcha questions, stuff that he's seen inside the media. But as always, Trump handled himself well and he destroyed George. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what the react to. We're out.